Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 7:59 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Friday. You made it. You may rejoice. Yes, you may. Brent Jimenez is in the chat. I see you, Brent. You made it to Friday. Everybody made it. We are here. We feel good this morning. It's nice when you step outside, too. Actually, it's not overwhelming in either degree. Not too chill, not too hot. Feels really well outside. And actually, we have the weather for you guys. You guys have been seeing that. We put the weather on the screen for you. I'm going to do that momentarily. We have a great show for you guys today. We got a great guest with us, and we're going to learn a lot about an equally great organization. My guest today is Mr. Ken Maurice, who is the Director of Community Services for Aurora Township. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
All right. Former DJ, former radio DJ, we were just talking about before the before everything came on. So he put the headphones on. He was like, I'm liking this. Like, I can see the excitement. He lit up when he put them on. That's really cool. So we're going to talk to Ken Maurice today about Aurora Township. But first, let us go to the weather. Feels good, me being the guy saying that. The weather's on the screen for you guys to check out. Today's high will be 83 degrees. Nighttime high tonight, 65 degrees. As you can see, the potential for rain and more thunderstorms does exist tomorrow. Same thing when you wake up. 79 degrees is the high tomorrow, 63 degrees tomorrow night, Sunday 84, Sunday night 66, Monday 88 degrees, and Monday night 68 degrees. How y'all liking that weather? I feel good about it myself. All right. Ken, how you feeling?
Just fine. I'm so happy to be here with Good Morning Aurora this morning. Happy Friday, everyone.
Thank you very much. We're happy to have you, man. Happy to have you. So after meeting you for the very first time, I think last year, come to find out after meeting you, we have so many mutual friends. Bob Lockwood is one of them. So many people, and it's really cool to see. So also want to give you your kudos. Recently this year was the Everyday Heroes Breakfast. How did it feel to get awarded and to be recognized with other people in the community on that day?
Thank you very much. And it was an honor. And from my perspective, as I shared with the people that attended that day, I'm a product of Aurora. So anytime someone acknowledges the work that you're doing, from my perspective, you have to look at the people who have touched my life over the years, the people that have taught me, the people that have given me opportunity to go out and serve. So when you get an honor like that, you tend to think that there's a lot of people behind it, and that, yeah, you may be the focus for the honor, but it really represents a lot of people who put in the work to make sure that you could be a viable and productive citizen in the community.
Right. And you mentioned that, too, in your speech, which I thought was really powerful, too, because I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, yeah, it feels good to be awarded. It feels good to get the accolade. But what goes into the whole thing is a lot of heavy lifting, and it's not just by one person's shoulders, too. So shout out to the Three Fires Council, too, for giving the presenting that and putting that on. That was awesome. Exactly. Now, how long have you been the director over at Township?
Since August of 2021.
Okay. All right. And what is your day-to-day activities like over there?
Busy. It's, I function out of the Youth and Community Center for Aurora Township. And it's a fast-paced environment. There's a lot of moving parts. Mm-hmm. We have activities that serve young kids as young as 7 up to seniors and everything in between. So no 2 days are alike, and every day is a busy day. There are no really down days when you're in an environment like that.
Well, you were born and raised in Aurora.
I was raised in Aurora, been here ever since I was a child. I was actually born in the Show Me State of Missouri.
Missouri. Okay. All right. What was the Aurora experience growing up for you?
For me, it was I would say it's close to like the American way of life, being in the suburb. You get a chance to play with your peers and go to school with your peers. And for the most part, you could operate safely in the community. There wasn't as much of a threat, or at least a visible threat, as it is today in terms of the safety of kids. And so you start elementary school and you gain friends, and you go throughout your school years with those friends. So it was a great experience. There were a lot of hardworking adults that I got a chance to look at when I was a kid. So at the very early stages, you get a chance to start formulating behaviors that you know are going to be successful.
Right.
When you see adults get up every day, they go to work, they provide for families, and then they do what they can outside of the area of work to make sure their families are okay, and even pitching in for neighborhood type concerns. So I had a lot of good, positive experiences growing up in Aurora. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And now having that relationship with the young people who come to the youth center, so many youth oriented and focused activities, has it come full circle for you? Have we reached that pinnacle?
I would say yes. The kids are kids, and you can go from era to era, and you will understand that regardless of the era, there are some things in terms of the developmental stages that kids go through that really don't change from era to era. But the eras do change, and so that impacts kids. And so I do think we've come full circle, but in different ways. Kids are exposed to different things. Our society is moving at light speeds that we haven't seen in the past. And so we as adults are doing all that we can to make sure we keep up with the changes in our society. So it's even more important that we do what we can to help kids adjust to the changes that we're seeing in our society. But at the end of the day, kids are still kids.
Right. Time is 8:06 a.m. Brian Moreno is here. Good morning to you. Sam Nunez is here. Good morning, all, and Director Maurice. Appreciate that, my brother. Judge Kim DeGiovanni is here. Good morning to you. Matthew Rainey, Brent Jimenez, Valerie Trainum, and Stephen Hendry. Good morning to all of you great people. Happy Friday to everybody. For those who are unfamiliar, what exactly is Aurora Township, and how do I know if I live in it, and what are the boundaries of Aurora Township?
Well, Aurora Township, is bounded roughly by Route 56 in the north, in the west by Orchard Road, and the east by Eola Road, and the south roughly by Route 30.
Okay.
So if you're in those boundaries, you're in Aurora Township, and we our duties are basically to serve within those boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of ways you guys do that. There's the roads. I'll let you tell it, but there's roads. Sam Nunez was on the show too and gave us a little bit of an overview as well.
Yeah, we have elected officials that are part of the leadership of Aurora Township. So there's the supervisor's office, which Bill Ketching is the township supervisor. And under the supervisor's office, you have a variety of services that are provided to the public. We have general assistance. We have ride and cane. We have youth services, which is emanating out of the Youth and Community Center. You have code enforcement with the Township Supervisor's Office. And then we have the Assessor's Office with Davis Offit as the elected assessor. And they basically appraise property, assess property, real estate within the boundaries. And then we have the Highway Department, which the elected official there is Jason Owens, and they're responsible for the roads that are within the district of the Aurora Township. We also have a board of trustees, and we have 4 elected trustees, of which you mentioned Sam Nunez being one of them. We have Dolores Hicks, we have Juanita Wells, and we have Mr. David Moore. And then the other elected official is our clerk, and we have Cassie Alexander, who is the town clerk. So that forms the leadership, and that also the elected leaders, the township supervisor, the assessor, and the highway department, they are all over their respective elected areas. And so they run those based out township statutes and the initiatives that they deem for those different areas.
Okay, awesome. The time is 8:10 a.m. Gary Pierce is here. He says, "Happy Friday, my brothers." Well, thank you very much for that, Gary Pierce.
Good
you
morning,
need to keep
bro.
tuning in, my man. Much appreciated. And Becky Hoff is here as well. Good morning to you. So we talked before the camera and the mics came on and everything. Our show's been just made the 3-year mark. It was back in May. Started during the pandemic. What was the pandemic like for Township? Now, I know that you weren't director then at that moment when it started, but being familiar with it, if you're able to, what was it like, and how did it affect activities and duties and everything? Surely shut down, but what else?
Well, I'm very familiar because during the pandemic, I was the human resources coordinator for Aurora Township. And one of the things we saw immediately, our township supervisor, Bill Ketching, wanted to be as safe as possible. So like most organizations, we shut down and we decided to make sure that our staff was safe, as well as the residents that we serve. And we followed the guidelines that were put out there by the state of Illinois, CDC. So we just made sure that we toed the line as far as what the recommendations were for best practices. And as soon as we got signs like everybody else that we could slowly start ramping back up, we did. And we did that safely as well by following protocol for the safety during the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic.
Right. It seems like those are the mitigation phases and the phases of reopening and everything. And it seems like, you guys followed the same timeline and everything, which I liked seeing that, and that was how it was in Aurora and everything. But for many organizations, it was obvious to see who put the safety of the folks before, whatever the case may have been, to just try to reopen and things like that. And when you deal with families and young people too, that's paramount, because the parents don't have the confidence, that consumer confidence. They're not going to do anything, no matter whether it's going out to the skating rink or, programs and things like that. So kudos, man. Kudos.
Thank you.
Yep. Right now, the website and everything, is that how people go about if they need assistance? Like, for example, general assistance, and you guys also have senior. Is that the ride share that you were mentioning? Is that the senior one? Because there's a senior component though to Township.
Yeah, we fund and help partner with Senior Services of Aurora. And so we do direct seniors to access what's available through Senior Services. And Aurora Township has had a long-standing relationship with Senior Services. Also with our Riding Cane program, many of the individuals that take advantage of that are seniors or individuals who may have a disability of some sort.
All right. Time is 8:14 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Now, Ken, remember I told you about going to a commercial and doing a little bit of the local for them. I'm going to do some of that right now. I'm going to take them to a commercial. I'm going to tell these great people about some of the local news and headlines that are happening here. How you feeling? Need some water or something?
No, I'm actually having a good time.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, up on your screen, you can see an event taking place Saturday, July 15th at the Wilder Park Promenade. That's the recent place, 350 North River Street, where the bridge ends, coming across 8:30 a.m. to noon. This is the IFT Wellness Concert Series. It's Fit Time, in partnership with the Aurora African American Health Coalition, is hosting this fantastic series, and it's sponsored by Mind and Body Chiropractic and Leave Me Be Pest Control Incorporated. Once again, it's going to be Saturday, July 15th at the Wilder Park Promenade. So come on out there, get your fitness on. How's your health? Right? Everybody paused. Ooh, how is it, honey? Sip your coffee. Make sure that you healthy. We need you all healthy as we continue trying to take over the world here. Okay, next we have the Aurora Regional Chamber of Commerce. They have Coffee and Connections. The next one's taking place Tuesday of next week at Jennings Terrace, 271 South LaSalle Street. This is a morning of impactful network building and caffeination with professionals from across the greater Aurora region. The coffee is good. I go every now and then, and it's really good. You'll like it. So I encourage you to go there. Also become a member of the Aurora Regional Chamber of Commerce. And last but not least, Aurora Electric. Get to know Aurora Electric. Oh my gosh. Sip it up, sip it up, sip it up, sip it up. You don't have anything to drink, but when we mess up our words, we sip it up on this show. That's just to let us know to woosah, right? Calm it down. Let's try that again. Okay, Aurora Electric. They've been around for 30 years of experience, licensed 24/7 service, and this is your $100 off coupon. Get your phones out, take a screenshot of that. 630-486-1128 is the number that you need. Peter Aguilera is a dear friend of our show, and we want to make sure that we support him. So I want all of you guys to do that for your electrical needs. Reach out to Aurora Electric. The time, ladies and gentlemen, is 8:16 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. So college. Let's talk college. Where'd you go to school at?
My undergrad, I went to Northwestern University in Evanston.
Okay, and is that where WNUR was born?
That is correct. That's where I spent my 4 years as a disc jockey at the campus radio station, and I enjoyed every second. As I had shared with you before we went on the air, I'm a jazz enthusiast in terms of music. I listen to all sorts of music, but I'm definitely a jazz enthusiast. And when I found out I could actually go on the air and play the music and share with other people, I jumped at the opportunity, and I had a show all 4 years that I was in school.
All right. And what was the name of it?
The name of
the show?
I didn't have a name.
It wasn't the Ken Maurice show.
No. I did. I
Kenny's jams or something.
No. I didn't have a name to it. No.
Okay, all right. I want to talk about the positions, the elected positions at Township. What is how do they run? Speak about them, and how can folks get involved in those positions and learn more?
Well, the election comes up every 4 years for the elected offices that the township has, and again, each of the three main areas, meaning the supervisor's office, the assessor, and the highway department, those elected officials are over their areas and accountable to the voters for those areas. And if an individual was interested in that, there's a process that you would have to go through like you would any other election. And once you set yourself up to be on the ballot, then you would be a part of the election for the township office.
Okay, all right. And when that time comes up, that or those postings and that news is out there
Exactly
when folks happen.
Yes.
Okay. The time is 8:19. Tracy Duran, good morning. Norma Peterson, good morning. I want to talk about the benefit for young people of being involved and getting involved, and not just going to school and coming home, wherever the case may be, but taking part, becoming a part of associations and clubs and things like that. In your experience, how formative has that been, or can that be for young people?
I think that you have to go where kids have an interest, and you have to expose them to a variety of options. And like young folks, you may have those that are they have a passion for some athletic activity or another. You may have some that are more geared towards community service. You may have some that are interested in governance. And so I think what you do in terms of organizations and schools and the community and church and the whole lot is you give them opportunities, positive opportunities and safe opportunities to home in on their passions. And from time to time, young folks may not know exactly what that is, but when they have options put before them, then they can pick and choose, and you try your best to help them develop in that passion as well as enjoy that. And so it's been my experience that the key is that they have as many options as possible that are safe and they're fun and something that they can learn and grow being involved with.
Now, you were a coach as well.
Correct.
Basketball.
Yes.
How many years did you coach?
Well, I coached many years through the Fox Valley Park District Summer League. Years ago, every summer, each of the park sites would have several coaches, and we were charged with teaching basketball skills. Many of the kids that participated were very talented, so you didn't have to do much teaching. But so I did that for many years, and then I had an opportunity to coach at my high school alma mater, East High, for a season. I was the assistant sophomore basketball coach, and so over the years, even at the township, we fielded basketball teams, and we would be in a variety of leagues. Like years ago, the YMCA had a league that we were involved in, and other types of competitions. Like we used to play Elgin,
Okay.
We'd go up to Elgin, take a team up to Elgin. At that time, they had Detective Henry Smith was the contact person. He would put together a team. We'd go up there and play. They'd come down here and play. I took teams to play other townships, and actually took a team once up to Evanston with some of the connections I had up there. So I've coached over the years, but some of the players they may have a different viewpoint, because again, when you have players that are extremely talented, sometimes they don't think they need a coach, and whatever success you have, they might think it's due to them playing, and they tolerate listening to the coach,
Right.
the quote unquote coach.
Right. Well, some of that stuff that you learn too, everybody can make, people got a good shot and they think that that's just it. But it's like, yeah, but you're never on time for practice, so it's like those things you learn as you grow and develop, man.
Right.
Times 8:23. What's the current events taking place within Township and going on?
Well, we have a summer camp that we're full front and circle working with now. We have 57 kids enrolled.
Okay.
And so that takes up most of the day. I mean, some of the kids get there as early as 8, and then most of them, their parents pick them up by 5, and sometimes a little after, because we do have kids in the summer camp whose parents are working during the day. So that's front and center, but we also have a full-fledged soccer team and training and activities going on, which soccer is very popular in the world, in our country, and no less here in our state and our city. And we have kids that we are involved in basketball in the evening times. But there are several activities on the horizon for us that are community in nature. We are planning to be a site, one of the sites throughout this great city for National Night Out.
Okay.
I'm personally a big believer in law enforcement and their efforts in our community, and working with organizations and our residents to make our community safe. And the township is planning on being one of the host sites. And then in early August, I believe August 7th, we have a yearly fundraiser that's for the Youth and Senior Foundation at the Aurora Township barbecue. So I'm going to put a plug in for that. You can get tickets at our main office or our Youth and Community Center for that. It's very popular. I believe last year, I'm pretty sure we had well over 500 people that got involved and came through our Youth and Community Center to pick up their dinners. So we're going to be doing that again. Those are some things that are coming up in several weeks.
Good. Awesome. Time is 8:26 a.m. Faye's Barbecue. That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Josie Mendoza Geller is here. Good morning from Mauston, Wisconsin. Oh, man. Tuning in from all over the place. Shout out Wisconsin. That's what's up. Aisha Saxon, good morning. Corey Ingram, good morning. Luz and Juan, the Woodcrafters. Get to know them. Great people, family-owned business. Good morning to both of you guys out there. Josue Pais and Tracy Duran. Oh, and Al Covington. He says, good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Al.
And I would be remiss if I did not mention Mr. Saul Olivas. Good morning to you, Saul. All right. So when it comes to the activities and everything, how does the township get funds for activities?
Well, we're funded through the town fund. So being a department of the Aurora Township Supervisor's Office, we are budgeted through the town fund, and every year we go through a process where the plans are presented to the town supervisor. and also work with the director of finance for the township. And then obviously there's oversight by the board of trustees. And so that's what we do. We take a look at what the expectations are and the services that we want to provide, and then we have to go through that process to present it and get it approved.
What does it take to be an effective director?
I think you have to have flexibility and understanding, patience. You need to be an effective communicator, both with your team of people that you work with, as well as the general public, with the elected leaders, and the general community, because we don't function in a vacuum. We work with other organizations and collaborative and partnership type activities. And I also think there needs to be something that shows that you have a sense of humility, and that your primary focus are on others, and that your job is to really do all you can so that others' lives can be brightened, whether that's through staff development or through services to the public. You almost need to be in a realm where it's not about you. You almost have to lose yourself and understand that when you're in a position of leadership, it's about other people. It's about helping other people. It's about developing other people.
8:29 is the time. I wonder, and this is more of a speculative, pondering type of question. Is that a skill or a trait or a talent that is not being pushed to young people as effectively as it could or should be?
I've seen quite a few people who have young people on their radar, and they do push it. Although I do think that it needs to be increased. Just from a personal perspective, I think from a vantage point from afar, just if you look at everything that's going on in the world, in our country, in our state, in our community, we have an abundance of positions that require leadership. But I do believe in some respects that there is a short supply of actual leadership. And I'm saying, like, when I was a kid growing up, one of my heroes, and still is one of my all-time heroes, is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And that type of leadership, we could use a lot more of it. And I think young people could use a lot more of it. Now, also, when I was growing up, in my neighborhoods, there was what I called unsung heroes, and people who demonstrated leadership because they did things that mattered positively for others. They wasn't doing it for headlines. They didn't get accolades or anything like that. It was just a normal way of life for them. And I saw that time and time and time again. So I do think true and sincere leadership is invaluable and it's priceless. And when an organization or a community or a neighborhood or whatever the case may be, when you find it, you need to treat it like that, because it's a commodity that's in short supply, in my opinion. Although we have an abundance of positions of leadership, the true leadership, we could use a lot more. And all a person has to do is just look around them at what's going on, and you can see that that's a pretty accurate view, I think.
And Martin Luther King Jr. was your hero. Who was your mentor?
I've had a variety of mentors. Most of my mentors have been like family and peers. I grew up watching people do things that impacted me positively. Like my brother. I always looked up to him. I learned a lot from him. I basically, learned what was right and what wasn't right. I had friends like that. I had other family that impacted me before I even went out into the world. Basically, I was touched positively by most of my family before I even went to school and things like that. But I was also fortunate that when I was in school, I had teachers, I had coaches that really cared about people and did all they could to help them start formulating the basis for being successful in life. Same thing in college. I was able to be around individuals that steered me in the right direction, and certainly being out into the world as a full-fledged adult in a professional capacity. I've had numerous people who took me under their wings, and they taught me, how to be a productive and successful person in our society, in addition to the world of work. So I have been very fortunate in my life that every step that I can think of, I mean, we could be here an episode alone, me just dropping names of people, because it's been that many.
I'll take you up on that one of these days, man. We'll call it the name drop episode. Just, hey, put a little beat to it, like shout out to this person. Now that you, those people, you said unsung heroes. Yeah, there's a lot of those people out there. I thought about that too when you mentioned that the Everyday Heroes breakfast, right? Len Bogacki, great guy. I told a story. I couldn't tie knots when I in the Navy. You need to learn how to tie knots. And anyway, the man who taught me how to tie knots was a guy named Harold Cadman. He's since passed away. He was a Boy Scout, and that was because I wasn't getting it, right? It wasn't the easiest thing to do. He made it easy. He was like, I've been tying knots. He was like, Curtis, come on. The bowling? He was like, this is, right? And I got pictures that I'll never forget him, because now in my everyday life, in my whatever, you saw Brett leaving out of here, about to do his first interview. I just think to myself, like, you know what? Like, you got to provide that moment for somebody else of clarity. That's what it's about. It always, that's my humility right there. As soon as you start slicing a little bit too high on the hog, you come back to those moments and you're like, you know what? I'm here because someone took the time to show me, or someone took the time to tell me, or somebody may have taken the time to warn, whatever the case may be, Time is 8:36 a.m. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just tuning in, our guest today is Mr. Ken Maurice of Aurora Township. And good morning to all of you great people. Ray Flores, Cheryl Brownell, and Josue Pais says, word, the young people today are desperately needing leadership. Cindy Morales is here. Good morning to you guys as well. Todd Schlitz, good morning to you. And Dan Burrow says, good role models are greatly needed to help develop our youth. Kudos to all the coaches and volunteers. Absolutely. And shout out to the teachers too. We went to a brief commercial because I want to put the weather back up here for y'all to see. As you know, Good Morning Aurora is dedicated to giving y'all the weather. Aurora weather exists. Now we did a video today. It's on LinkedIn, but it didn't post to Facebook. I think Meta, Zuckerberg, or somebody hating on our weather, man. It's all the numbers climbing up. They're like, you know what? Let's shut that down. Let's make it buffer for just no reason and make it upload, but then not post, so whatever. Here is the weather for you guys. Cooler through Saturday, then warming up Sunday and Monday. Today's high is 83 degrees. Nighttime high is 65 degrees. Tomorrow, 79. Nighttime high of 63. Sunday, 84 degrees. And Sunday's nighttime high is 66 degrees. As you can see, starting tonight, going into tomorrow, the potential for thunderstorms, lightning, rain, and all of that does begin. So be aware of that. Not only do young people need leadership, young people need to start wearing umbrellas. You ever notice that? They so cool with the clothes. They don't want, right, the outfit. Standing out there in the rain getting rained on because the umbrella is just not cool anymore. Okay. Now you got wet clothes. Anyway, time is 8:38 a.m. Good morning to all of you great folks out there. Judge Kim says, great job. Please keep up this important work. Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that important work, one of my favorite questions to ask folks is, how can we help you? How can ourselves and the listeners help yourself, Aurora Township?
Yeah, again, we work at a youth and community center, and we do take advantage of people who volunteer. All of our volunteers have to be background checked. But and then if you look at our website and or by word of mouth, you find out about our programs, and you know of kids and families that might be able to take advantage of it, send them our way. And we do all that we can. We put the people that come through our doors front and center. We greet everybody positively when they come in, and we try to give them a sense that they are important. And no matter what's going on in the outside world, when they walk through our doors, we want people to feel that they're special. So we do take advantage of volunteers and word of mouth for people that, there's a lot of things in Aurora. That's one of the things I like about Aurora. And I've been a few places, and I will say that Aurora stacks up as good as any place I've been to when it comes to social services, human services, and people in need being able to get things done. So if somebody feels like or thinks that there's some services that we offer that can help somebody, send them our way.
Awesome. Time is 8:40 a.m. Julia Lindberg is here. Good morning to you, Julia. What is the importance of voting?
Voting is your way of controlling your destiny. And I have this dialogue I with, friends and family quite a bit that, even if it's the local school board, even if it's the local township offices, even if it's our municipal government, state, federal, your voice is heard through your voting. And everything that goes on in our society is governed by something. And so when you're thinking about, I don't like this, I like this isn't good, this isn't, that's not for me, or that is for me, voting is where you make your voice heard. And too often, and I understand this is not a judgment of people. People are busy, and, some governing has let people down. I get that. But it's so important because just about everything that's going on in our lives are impacted in one way or another by a body that has elected officials.
Right.
And so I would say, there's a lot of things in life that take up our time, but I would strongly encourage people to always find the time, if possible, to vote, because that's where your voice is heard, and that's where you're counted, and that's where you can impact governing bodies that impact your life.
And that's where it matters.
Exactly.
I won't wear down the audience with retelling them, but I heard from the words of someone, a great leader in our community, that all of the protesting in the world is still going to be that and it's not going to have any effect without voting to change legislation or create legislation. That's the key for people to exercise their vote. That's how it's done. That's how you have to do it. And I do believe that people are, especially young people, they may think it's just something that old people do, or what does it really matter? The dreaded phrase. I didn't mean to cut you off. Excuse me.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just real quickly, that it's accountability too.
Sure. It is. No,
it's our way as the public. It's our way of holding our governing bodies accountable.
Right. Time is 8:43 a.m. Josue Pais says, "This is why I love living in Aurora, our small community. We have love for one another and help each other out in need." Yeah, you're supposed to be. That's what it's all about. That's what God put you on this earth for. I personally when this show started, I needed help. I needed help. I didn't have a job. Lost the job that we had, so I needed help. So the whole idea was I can't be the only person who needs this help. I'm not the only person who lost a loved one. I'm not the only person who lost their job. People are calling me looking for jobs. So you know what? Let's find jobs together. Like, somebody's hiring, let's put that on the screen, So just trying to do my thing, my own Ken Maurice story.
Thank you. We appreciate
Time
it.
is 8:44. So now we find ourselves in the summertime of 2023. What are the next priorities for Township? I keep saying Township, but your youth services directly, you work out of that building directly. But I'm just, bringing up all Township stuff. What are the priorities for Township, the youth services department, and things for the future?
We want to continue our outreach efforts.
Okay.
We talked about the pandemic, and in 2021, when I moved over from Human Resources to Director of Community Services and working out of our Youth and Community Center, the reality was kids, like adults during the pandemic, had to find other things to do.
Mm-hmm.
All of our lives changed dramatically when we were going through the pandemic. So what I found out was we needed to do some outreach to tell kids that, hey, it's okay that you started something else, but you can come back,
Right.
because everybody was doing their own thing and they weren't really going back to what they used to do very quickly. And again, adults were like that. There were some things I changed up in my life when the pandemic came that I was either reticent of or didn't even go back to afterwards. So kids were no different. So we needed to do outreach to say to kids that you don't have to be in your room all day in the summer or in the evenings. You can come to a youth and community center. There are activities here, and there are things here that can take up your time, that you can enjoy and do it safely. And so that effort has been ongoing, and it's technology was a boon for some of the kids during the pandemic, because almost everything they wanted to do, they could do through their phones.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I even had a kid tell me once, because we have a TV that was donated by a neighborhood couple, and so we allowed the kids to watch it. And the kid was looking at TV, and I said, hey, is there something on there, or is there something we can try to get you that you're looking for? And the kid was like, oh no, that's okay, I can look at it on my phone. So on the horizon for us is to keep outreach going, and we are seeing that kids are coming back, and we're seeing that kids enjoy being in atmospheres where they can be with other young folks and do things that are fun. Like we don't we like it to be as loud as it could be at the youth and community center. You know, like if you can't blast the music at home, or if you can't be loud at home, at the center, it's encouraged. And so that's our main focus now, is just continuing our outreach efforts. Our soccer program is going. It's in we have in the hundreds of kids involved in that, and we want to try to do some more outreach for kids that are interested in basketball, and continue to increase that. And then also, just to let the public know, through the leadership of our supervisor and our board of trustees, we have been making some improvements to the Youth and Community Center. And so there are a couple things that we're trying to finish up this year, to make sure that the facility continues to be a very clean facility, and one that's conducive to the public being able to come to a place that's nice while they're taking advantage of the services and activities there.
Time is 8:48 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We're here with Mr. Ken Maurice today. Jason Fritz, good morning. Jennifer Baird Del Debbio, good morning. Marissa Amoni, good morning. She says TGIF, no First Fridays tonight. See everyone at Music and Market on Stolp Avenue on Wednesday. Music and Market on Stolp Avenue. Shout out to Stolp Avenue. And Julia Lindbergh says voting is the key. Absolutely. Jennifer Ryan Maiden, good morning to you. Peter Aguilera is here. Good morning to you too. What does jazz provide to the listener and to the world that every other genre doesn't?
That's a good question. And I like the artistry that jazz provides. And it also, from my perspective, it does something for the soul. And if you go back historically, it's one of America's, it's a creation here that takes a lot of different genres and put them together to form the music. And you do have some jazz that they're singing in it, but a good part of it is instrumental. And so it's the type of music that you can listen to it while you're reading a book. You can listen to it while you're driving or rolling along. You can share it with people. Like if you're in a situation where you're having some discussion, you can have it in the background. But I just think that there's something about it that goes deep within you, and the artists through their life experiences, I think, are able to connect with listeners that way.
Okay. All right. Time is 8:51 a.m. This has been Kim Williams. Rowry is here. Good morning to you as well. Josue Pais said hip-hop jazz. Thanks for that, my brother. And Amy Sihak, good morning to you guys. I'm very happy to have done this interview today. And I know I can already see, I'm going to be hanging out later, but I can already see people hitting me up and asking me. Some things are happening in my life now that's really different now. Nobody asks me how I'm doing. Very few people ask me how I'm doing. They'll see me and they'll be like, hey, Kurt, what up? Yo, the interview with the blah, 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 when he said. So I look forward to a lot of that because very few people knew I was going to interview you today. So I'm anxious to see what they say. But I'm happy to highlight what you're doing and your story. Really am, man. Really am. Yep. You were on the East Aurora School Board too, as well, for many years. What was that experience like?
It was a great experience. It was another way to serve, and for me, It was very important because it rounded out and made my experience with District 131 come full circle. I was a student in the district. I coached in the district. I was also a licensed guidance counselor for the district for 4 years. And then to be able to be on the school board for a couple years, it was like that's the full District 131 experience. And more importantly, it was another way for me to try to give back to not only the community as a whole, but the district in particular, because so many parts of the success in my life was due to my experiences as a student. I mean, I had outstanding teachers all throughout my experience as a student in District 131. I had outstanding coaches because I did play sports for a little while, and there were outstanding friends and families that I got to know. So being on the board was another way to serve and another way to impact, and it was a great experience. School boards are as close to grassroots as you can get. I mean, anybody, you could be a mom, you could be just a concerned individual in the community, and you can run for school board. And then when you get on there, you can try to have an impact. So it was a great experience. I ain't going to say that every moment was a walk in the park, because you do have, elected school board members who are there for a variety of reasons. So there is quite a bit of dialogue and quite a bit of debate at sometimes that got contentious. But that was fine. I mean, I'm good with that. I can handle that. But I just want people to know that it's one of those experiences where it's not just sitting behind a desk and smiling and stuff like that. You are debating some serious issues of things that impact one of the most precious parts of our population, and that's our kids and our youth.
Absolutely. The time is 8:55 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. This has been a fantastic episode. Man, I feel like we went we went out there today. We did it, you guys. We did it. Shout out to East Aurora. Great teachers, coaches, and staff as well. So the show ends on a positive note. What is your message today for the people of Aurora?
I would encourage people to, and this is with the understanding that, everybody has a life and life moves fast and there's a lot of parts to it. I would just encourage everybody to have hope each and every day that you wake up, to go out into this world and put your best foot forward. We're not all perfect. We don't always achieve what we're trying to achieve. We don't always make the right decisions, but each day you get, just try to be your best and try to be as positive as you can when you go out into this world. Don't let this world beat you down. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, but have a solid foundation. Stand tall on the ground and don't be imbalanced. You can do it, and you do it day by day, one step at a time, 1 second at a time, and just and keep on living and have hope and joy in life.
Absolutely. Time's 8:56. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you guys have a great weekend, a marvelous and powerful weekend. We really appreciated today's conversation with Mr. Ken Maurice. Ken, if you ever want to come back on the show, my brother, we can definitely do this again, man.
Thank you very much, and
we
we'll
can
do
this again. We can do this again. Absolutely. Josue says, great interview, man. Peace and blessings. Remember, more love and good vibes. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Hope you guys have a safe weekend. Be blessed. Take care of yourself and each other.